Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I am amazing.
You are amazing, but how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Hey, coming up later in the program, I'm going to be visiting with a young lady from Bil-Jac, and Bil-Jac is a dog food, like treats, like those little treats I've been feeding our dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those from Bil-Jac, and going to be chatting with her about how to encourage your pets to have New Year's resolutions, and it's... But here's the thing. It's like, you know, if your resolution is to lose weight, if your pet needs to lose weight, maybe you go for a walk together, that kind of stuff. But they got some really cool ideas. I was chatting with her, and I'm excited to visit with her on the interview. So Kim will be talking in a bit. Take a listen to this. Falling in love can act as a potential painkiller. So if you're ever in pain, all you need to do is fall in love, and the pain goes away.
That's all you need to do. Easy as that.
Just that. And also, by the way, falling out of love is a pain inducer. So just so you know.
Yeah.
A Danish clinic offers treatment for people suffering from pathological gambling and internet addiction. Now they've begun helping people addicted to texting. So if you could be all kinds of messed up and go to that place, they'll fix you right up. Addicted to texting and gambling and internet.
What about online shopping?
Probably that
I may
too.
have a problem.
Yeah, I know. I know you do. You don't may have a problem. You got a problem. All right, coming up, some special things for this Friday. We'll tell you all about it in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, January the 20th. Today is Camcorder Day. Remember back in the day when camcorders were gigantic? Mm-hmm. And now they're just tiny and they're built into your smartphones.
Yes, I remember.
Crazy. Today is Data Innovation Day. It's International Fetish Day, National Cheese Lovers Day, Penguin Awareness Day. For those of you that are not aware, they're little black and white birds that live in cold temperatures.
Now you're aware.
Now you're aware. Today is National Disc Jockey Day. Ooh, knuckles on that one. Boom.
It's our day.
Today's our day. It's also National Healthy Weight Day. I'm sorry, Women's Healthy Weight Day. So just for women, not for me, not for men. And it's Inauguration Day.
It is Inauguration Day.
So all of those things going on today. It's a busy, busy, busy day. For those of you who are going to be having inauguration parties tonight, make sure you have a designated driver. I don't think most people are.
We are.
I know, but most people don't do that. Her brother's coming over. We got some Trump wine from her mother for Christmas, which was kind of funny. So we're having an interesting party tonight.
I'm partying.
Yeah, I'm not exactly. What are we having for appetizers? Have we thought
All
about
kinds
that?
of stuff. I've got a whole list.
Do
We're
you
going
really?
To the store. Yeah.
All right. Well, since it's National Cheese Lovers Day, better be some cheese. Coming up in a bit, we've got some fun stuff to chat about on this Friday, the 20th day of January.
John and Heidi.
It's a new year, and many have made resolutions. Have you? If your resolution is to quit smoking, I want to help. This is one of the biggest resolutions every year. I met a hypnotist that's been able to help people with this one. He can send you a Stop Smoking Hypnosis CD program that you just listen to, and it's designed to help you quit smoking. It's available at a discount for our listeners right now at radiosavings.com. Get the tobacco-free CD program for just $40. That offer is available right now at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Can you find that special someone behind bars? Well, you can if you're behind bars. You know it's true love when a pair of convicted murderers who exchange wedding vows at the Guam Department of Corrections will spend the rest of their lives in separate living quarters, but they got married anyway. Although it's not uncommon for inmates to marry people from the outside of prison, this was a first for inmates to marry each other. This according to the prison chaplain. Vincent Palomo and Marianne Dulna were married in the prison chapel after they met during an inmate education course. Before exchanging vows, both had to undergo 8 months of psychological testing. So,
I wonder if they get conjugal visits.
I don't know how that works.
I wonder if they got to like for a honeymoon.
I don't know any of that. I'm just thinking, because usually somebody that's going to go visit someone in prison, they're free, so they can kind of come and go just during visiting hours. But if you're in prison and they're in prison, both of you are going to be sitting at an empty window waiting for someone to show up. And you're like, well, I wonder what's taking her so long. It's like she's detained somewhere. Oh, that's right. She's in prison across the road. So I don't know. That's kind of weird. So they met. Where did they meet? At an education. Well, that's kind of interesting. So the men and the women all get together for some education seminars.
I don't know.
I've never been to prison. Heidi, when you were in prison. Oh, wait, you've never been there either? I will say this. We have had listeners who listen in prison and have sent us letters.
Yes.
And Heidi is really good at writing back and corresponding back and forth. I'm terrible at that. And it's not that I don't want to take the time. It's just that my stack of stuff on my desk I haven't gotten to. There's some really important things right over there that I should be working on right now. And instead I'm dinking around. But when we get those, you've been phenomenal at that, responding to each and every one. And I got a call from a guy who has now gotten out of prison, and he reached out just to say he wanted to call and request a song, and just to say, "Hey, I'm out."
That's awesome.
That's why I quit touching base. But and he's gone now, out of the area. So, but I thought that was really cool. So anyway, these guys behind bars, they met each other. Now they're married in prison. Maybe that could be a new reality show. Kind of
Probably would be.
All right, coming up, we've got more. This one here, you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. A New Zealand man persuaded a 12-year-old boy to drive him home because he was, quote, too drunk.
Oh, man.
Wilfred Whalenhope told a youngster to get behind the wheel because he had too much to drink. He was arrested and fined $1,300 and disqualified from driving for 6 months. Police spotted a car and a young driver. They began to follow it. Wilfred was stopped, breathalyzed, and was way over the limit. He said he was just letting the boy drive his car. Judge Noel Walsh said the defendant had forced the boy to drive because he was too drunk. The judge added he was seriously concerned about the boy's future if Wilfred was his role model. So,
And what is the driving age there? Isn't it like 18? I think you have to be 18.
in New Zealand?
I think so.
In many other countries, it is quite a bit older than 12. I know that. So, this kid was 12. Anyway, coming up, we've got your moment of duh. That is on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. 4 teens in New Jersey stole 27 baby Jesus statues from nativity scenes back in December. That's not good. Even stealing one is a bad idea. But you get into the subject of stealing a bunch of them, that's kind of a bad idea. Usually they can be found with the why of an event. This is, for example, why did you steal 27? They said, we just wanted to see their heads burning.
Oh, my gosh.
They were burning them.
What a
And they
bunch
said-
of wackadoos.
And you can see what I mean. The whole statement is just brilliant. Geniuses here is what we're talking about. Robert Olson, father of Christopher. My goodness, my computer is glitching up and down. I don't know what I'm doing here. It's my mouse, I think. There we go. So one of the thief geniuses, Christopher, his son is unemployed high school dropout, already on probation for disorderly person-to-person offense for a disagreement with a neighbor. And he said about his son, Chris is sometimes misguided. Kind of sounds like it. So they were stealing baby Jesuses from nativity scenes and lighting them on fire. So, yeah, that's not good. Coming up, we've got
Why
yours.
not take the camel?
Yeah,
I mean,
well-
take something that doesn't matter as much.
No, don't take anything.
If you're gonna, but
No.
if you're gonna,
No,
don't take an important
Don't
piece.
listen to Heidi. Don't take any. Go back to school. Get at least your
Yes,
college.
go back to school. Get your
high school
diploma.
thing, and then find a job and move on. That'd be good news. Don't listen to her with the bad news. Coming up, we've got your scoop of the day.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. Sadly, George Michael passed away right around Christmas time. Between Christmas and New Year's, I believe, is when that was. And his music sales have gone up 2,678%. So
Wow.
apparently his music sales were down quite a bit.
Well, he hasn't done anything.
I understand. Well, he's done some stuff, just not popular music, but he's done like a lot of club music lately is what he's been doing. So anyway, 2,678% increase in his music sales since he died. So that's kind of sad. Just think someday, Heidi, we're going to have a following. It's going to be after we sure
After
do
we
miss
die.
those people. Hey, a guy named Bo Williams was just elected sheriff in West Virginia, but his victory celebration may be short-lived. He's already facing removal from office after being arrested just 3 days into the job. Guess why?
Why?
For stealing methamphetamines from the evidence locker.
No.
He's accused of stealing more than $1,000 in evidence, the majority of which were methamphetamines, at his previous job as an officer in Spencer, West Virginia. That's where this happened. Evidence bags with the case numbers matching the missing evidence were found in his desk and in his car.
No.
They voted Tuesday to remove the new sheriff, citing a law that allows them to do so for drunkenness or drug addictions. Williams left jail on a $50,000 bond ahead of a court appearance next week. He faces up to 10 years in prison. So, congratulations, Sheriff.
That's not smart.
Welcome to the job. Now, welcome back out of the job. Finland launched a 2-year experiment this week to provide their citizens with basic income regardless of their employment status. So, Finland is saying, hey, we're going to pay you just to live here, whether you have a job or not. How many people do you think are going to move there that don't have a job?
How can they afford to do
I
Well, we
don't
kind
know.
of do that here.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Also interesting, Wall Street is expecting the value of Starbucks to surpass the value of McDonald's this year. So Starbucks is not nearly as old as McDonald's, but they're adding more locations, and they said they're planning on expanding, if I remember correctly, like 50% this year, adding way more locations, because I remember joking, saying, yeah, because you can never find a Starbucks. Because if you go to a big city, they're on every corner. I mean, seriously, I
There are
remember
a lot of
seeing,
places where there's not even a single Starbucks.
I remember traveling and seeing a Starbucks 1 block away from another Starbucks. And I was like, wait a minute, there was just one a block back there. And there was like every 3 blocks there was a Starbucks.
I try to support the local coffee
Me
shops.
too.
I don't
Big
go
time.
to Starbucks.
Big time. California companies building a doomsday shelter. They're actually building these in the state of South Dakota, my home state, for wealthy people to survive the apocalyptic events like a nuclear war. Heidi and I were talking about this. We're wondering if this is something that's portable that you take, because it says a California company is building doomsday shelters in South Dakota. So does that mean they're just building them here and then you like install it at your house? Or they're actually like building it in the state of South Dakota and you have to move to South Dakota? Because the other thing that's interesting, there was just a report that came out like a week ago that said South Dakota is the state that more people are moving to. Like the state that most people are leaving is New Jersey, and South Dakota was a state that more people were moving to. Maybe it's because of these shelters.
Yeah, I know a lot of times they'll build those shelters in old missile silos.
Yeah.
And I know South Dakota has a lot
That could be.
of those vacant
There you go. See?
missile silos. So
Heidi, you're always thinking.
that could be where they're going.
If you're one of the 44% of the people who made a New Year's resolution, don't feel bad if you're already stumbling. Experts say by the 14th of January, which that's in the past already, 1/3 of resolution makers will have quit. By February 1st, about 6 in 10 will still be at it. Really? 6 in 10 will still be at it? I didn't think that many people would still be doing it on February 1st. We are way... we made it till February, like, what was it? It's January 3rd. Got a gym membership. Still haven't been there.
We made it until the 6th. Then the weekend came up. And
Like, okay,
I was
this
well...
is so overrated. Yeah, like I really want to be fit. Fit, fat, one letter difference. I'll just go with fat. That's good. And finally, decades of studies show how long-term cost benefits of dollar coins over paper money, but the U.S. still hasn't switched. Many countries, they don't have a dollar bill. They have dollar coins. We have dollar coins here, but people don't use them. We got some. Where do we get them? And you had them. And you're like, what am I going to do with these?
Right. What the heck am I going to do with
Like,
these?
oh, hey, I can use those coins finally.
They're just not popular. And you have to, when you do use one, you have to explain to them that's $1.
Like if you leave them for a tip, you look like a cheapo.
Right.
Even though, well, that's $5, but it looks like you left $1.25. So
Right. It's
you're like,
yeah. I don't know. I still prefer the
I
dollar
know.
bills, but
I do too.
I don't know.
That's all right. We can be weird together, Heidi, because I love you. And that's going to do it for the Scoop of the Day.
John and Heidi.
Radio advertising works. When it's done right, it works even better. There are many things you can do to get a better response, and shouting sale really isn't the best thing, believe it or not. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? If you're trying to get people to remember your company, consider a jingle. We work with one of the very best jingle companies in the business, and we'd love to use music to help you grow your company. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest right now. We're going to be chatting about New Year's resolutions for your pets. We have Kim Gable in, and she is joining us from Bil-Jac. And how are you doing, Kim?
I'm doing great, John. How are you?
Fantastic. We've got a couple of little puppies, and I guess I never really thought about having New Year's resolutions for the puppies, too. But you know what? It does make sense when you think about it, doesn't it?
Well, sure. It's a great time to think about, New Year's is a time to think about when should you be doing something different, maybe for yourself and also for your dogs. And so it's a good time to think about what else can I change to kind of help them be healthy and happy and keep them with me for a long time.
So now, what are some good resolutions that maybe that we could help our puppies or kitty cats make?
Well, there's a wide range, but two of the ones that I hear probably the most often have to do with training. Is your dog well trained? Because usually if you have a well trained dog, then you have a happy household.
Yeah.
But if your dog is maybe misbehaving or not doing all the things you wish they would do, maybe not so happy. And the other one is kind of, watching their weight, maybe being a little more active, making sure that they're kind of healthy and active.
Awesome. And that's a good idea, because the training, that's an area, if there's a time to work on it, now is a good time to work on it.
Yeah, and sometimes we just all get busy, right? We have all these things going on with our families, at work, at home. So it's a good time to kind of step back and think about how can I maybe carve out some time to do something special with my puppy.
So what are some tips on how you could increase your pet's activity level? So if you're saying, our resolution is to, we need to get shape, but our fat little dog needs to get in shape too. What are some tips on how to help them do that?
Yeah, well, and the win-win on that is if you get them a little more active, chances are you're going to be a little more active too. So it could maybe hit two of your resolutions, right?
There you go.
One of the things you could certainly do is, it's cold for a lot of us here in the country, and so you might not be able to get out and do maybe a half an hour walk, or maybe if you like to go to the park and go for a long time, you might not be able to do that. But, hey, getting out for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, if the weather is okay and it's not too cold outside, might be a really great idea. So it might be that maybe you don't go for a walk down the street, but maybe you just walk around the yard for 15 minutes, and that's a great way to be able to kind of keep a little bit of activity going. Do you have friends with dogs, John?
We do, yes.
Well, so you could maybe do a play date with them. So maybe one of you could go over the other person's house, and you guys could, kind of get the dogs together. So you're kind of getting out of the house and being a little more active, and they're getting together, playing, and maybe running around a little bit with their friends. And yet you're still, kind of doing something different, but you don't have to necessarily be outside to do it. And then of course, there's the typical, like, hey, there's so many dog parks that are out there these days. You can, go on to Google, on the internet, look for some of the dog parks around, and that could be good if you get a nice break of a day, where you can get out in the weather.
That's a really good idea. Get out and the other thing that's neat about that is, if you're there, if when she was talking about having friends with pets and you're going, oh, I don't have friends with pets. Well, maybe you would be when you leave the dog park, because you'd meet other people there too. So that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I know that when I go, I'm always talking to folks that are there, and we're always talking about our dogs and about what we do and that kind of thing. So yes, you can absolutely meet some new folks, and then maybe have some new play dates in the future.
So what are some tips that, people listening could utilize to train their pets? So maybe they've got some little thing that, whether it's, my puppy likes to jump up on the sofa, or they like to do this, or they like to do that, we're trying to train them. What are some ideas on how we could maybe train those puppies this time of year for that resolution? Yeah,
if you're looking for ways to kind of give your dog some new, it could just be easy, right? It could be just some new tricks, or it could be maybe some things that are about discipline, like sitting and staying, or coming, or maybe dropping something, if they have something in their mouth that they shouldn't. What I always say is, start simple, and be consistent. So, pick one thing that you'd like to change or to train, and then, there's a lot of stuff out on the internet. We actually have at Bil-Jac.com, we actually have some videos with Joel Silverman, the trainer. And so he's got some 2-minute videos where if you're looking to maybe correct an activity or improve an activity with your dog, you can kind of look there and be able to get some good, solid tips. And then, it's just really about consistently training them. So, and John, it doesn't have to be very long. Take maybe 3 or 4 minutes. I don't know about you, but my time span and my attention span usually goes away in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Exactly.
So does your dogs. If you're training for a long period of time, that can be, a little bit more stressful and distracting for them. So take 3 or 4 minutes a day and just train that one activity until you get it to the place where you want to. And, if you don't feel comfortable doing it at home, join a class. There's so many of them out there.
Exactly.
There's a lot of really great places that you can be able to do that. And having the right rewards around when you're training is really important. So, for example, we make Bil-Jac treats. We make a lot of different training treats like Little Jacks, and they're small little treats that you can give them so you're not giving them too many treats, or you can break them in half and give them, a treat. You can also, have a favorite toy that they like. That can be a reward. Or petting and giving them praise is also a very good reward. So rewards don't always have to be treats. They can be also love and attention and a special toy that they like.
Very, very cool. And I'm on the website right now. It's Bil-Jac.com, but I want to make sure I spell that because there's a lot of ways you could probably spell that. It's BIL-JAC.com. And there's a lot of fun ideas on here. So, and we've had some of these treats for our puppy dogs, and they love them. So, and it's funny when I first got them, I was looking at the bag. I was like, "This looks so delicious. I want to try them." So,
they smell great. Yeah,
yes.
I know. And dogs really do like them. All the chicken and chicken liver in there makes them really want to pay attention and do a good job for you.
Well, Kim, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us about setting some resolutions for our puppy dogs. We appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Thank you, and I'm wishing you and your listeners a very happy and healthy New Year's with your dog.
Definitely. Thank you so much. And folks, if you'd like to know more, I'm going to give you the website for Bil-Jac. Again, it's BIL-JAC.com. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
When is the last time you changed the air filter on your furnace? Now, don't be embarrassed. That happens to a bunch of us. The furnace filter should be changed often. This will help your heating and cooling system run more efficiently, and it'll even extend the life of your system. Now, there's an easy way to make it happen. Filter Easy, a new subscription service that delivers your size filter right to your door on the schedule you choose. It's easy. Filter Easy. One less thing to worry about. Learn about a special offer available now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The early prototype for the Slurpee machine used an automobile air conditioning unit.
Really?
That's kind of cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
If you don't show up for a football game and you have to forfeit the game, it means the record books will say that you lost 2-0 because they have to put a score of some kind, to tally. Otherwise, you both go down as 0 points.
Okay.
So if you forfeit, the other team only gets 2 points. You get 0 points. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Shirley Temple always had exactly 56 curls in her hair.
She was adorable.
She absolutely was adorable. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Ostriches can run faster than horses. I would love to see that at Churchill Downs.
I think they kick, too. Don't
Do
they
they?
have
I have no idea.
heck of a kick?
I've never
heard
really-
that an ostrich will kick you.
I've never really hung around an ostrich before.
I haven't either, but we really should.
I would love to see an ostrich race. Imagine the jockeys that would ride them. And I got to say this because it was a Facebook post a friend of mine had this weekend. I thought it was so funny. They had a picture to demonstrate it as well. They had 2 giraffes next to each other, and one had his necktie way up by his chin, another one way down by his body. It said, if a giraffe were to wear a necktie, would he wear it up high or down low? And I just thought of that with an ostrich. If an ostrich were to wear a necktie, would they wear it way up here? Or
You'd
would it
have
be
to
way
wear
down
it down low because it goes around your neck.
That's kind of what I was
Around your
thinking.
neck,
That was
around
the
your neck and your
consensus of my
shoulders.
goofy Facebook friends.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you agree. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that website is RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on this Friday, the 20th day of January. This week went by so darn fast. I mean, it's just cruising on by. This is maybe a do what I say, not what I do story. This is, parenting role models for toddlers and teens. It says teens have noticed that while their parents tell them not to talk on the phone or text while driving, guess who's doing it? Moms and dads.
Yep.
While behind the wheel, even though it's illegal in many states. According to State Farm, a survey of 517 pairs of new teen drivers and their parents, more than half of the teens said their parents do use a phone while driving, and it's nothing new. In fact, it's been happening for years. Mm-hmm. In the survey, 54% of teens say they've seen their parents use a phone while driving, either sometimes, often, or all the time. In addition, 43% of parents admit they've done just that, either sometimes, often, or all the time. How would you rate yourself, Heidi? Sometimes, often, or all the time?
I would say sometimes. I don't do it very often.
How would you rate me? Sometimes, often, or all the time? I talk on the phone while I drive along.
All the time. And you Google stuff and you look stuff up and you check your email.
But I'll push the little microphone and say, whatever my question is, and then it beep, beep, it pops up and tells me.
You scroll through your address book.
Well,
which takes your eyes off the road forever, and you're looking at your phone, and it's very dangerous.
Back to the story that I was telling before she started throwing me under this bus. It says here that you are a bad role model for your teenager if you're telling them one thing but doing something else. So shame, shame, shame on you.
Agreed.
And Heidi. And me.
Same thing at the dinner table. Yeah. When I say no phones at the dinner table and you come to the table with your phone, and then I can't yell at Taylor for having her phone when you're sitting there on your stupid phone.
Sometimes
or
what I'll do.
Or we're trying to have family time and watching movies and you're on your phone. I'm like, put the phones down. Put the phones down.
What I do half the time when we're at the dinner table, I'll pull out my phone, I'll send her a text and say, hey, guess what? I bet Mom's going to yell at us. I haven't done that, but I will now. Coming up, we've got something about stress. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll read all about it in a bit. It's a new year, and many have made resolutions. Have you? If your resolution was to lose weight, you're not alone. This is the single biggest resolution every year. And every year, millions of people try, and many fail. I met a hypnotist that's been able to help people with this one. He can send you a weight loss hypnosis program on CD that you just listen to, and it's designed to help you reduce the cravings. It's available at a discount for our listeners right now at radiosavings.com. Get the weight loss CD program for just $50. That offer is available now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
If you're feeling stressed, just look out the window. Researchers from the University of Washington conclude that looking at nature, even if it's out a window, is more soothing than watching television.
I would agree with that.
Especially if you've got a view of nature, like beautiful nature. If your window view isn't, beautiful, and you want to make it beautiful, then maybe look out the window at natural scenes.
Maybe you just hang up a hummingbird feeder or something. You can watch the hummingbirds come.
It says, if your window view isn't trees gently swaying in the breeze or butterflies dancing and brightly colored flowers instead of a cityscape with buses and... Oh, okay, so they're saying it's best if you have the beautiful nature.
Well, of course.
Not the buses and the benches. Okay.
But...
the way they have that written is really
even
cool.
Just looking out and just getting away is good.
And here's the thing. If you have, a cityscape that you're staring at, maybe just look at the clouds and watch the clouds float by. There you go. See? Always some way to look up and, feel good. Coming up, we've got some more fun stuff to share on this Friday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I know it's not quite the time of year for state fairs and county fairs, but, we'll have those before you know it. And you might want to remember some of this stuff when it comes to state fairs and county fairs, gas stations and barbecues. There's a company called Clear Foods. They use special technology to analyze food at a molecular level. Their ingredients, by ingredient analysis, they looked at 345 hot dogs and sausage products from 75 brands and 10 retailers. The company says they found human DNA in 2% of the samples. Yeah. And in 2/3 of the vegetarian samples. So
that shouldn't be surprising. I mean, there's human contact on those things as they go into the machines. So when they're saying DNA, they're not saying they're finding feces and stuff. They're saying DNA, like so your
people touched them.
Skin cells that as you're picking stuff up and dropping it.
Come on, people, wear gloves. I'm going to go use the restroom now. I'll be back in a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
It's a new year, and many have made resolutions. Have you? If your resolution was to quit drinking or to kick a drug habit, we want to help. Our friends at Keystone can help you determine the best program for your particular needs. This is something that really matters to me. My father was an alcoholic. He lost his battle at age 49. That's just too young. If you're searching for help, I hope my friends at Keystone can help you find the help you're looking for. Call 844-204-1055. That's Keystone, 844-204-1055.
John and Heidi.
Which is better for you for breakfast, oatmeal or cold cereal? What do you think?
I would say oatmeal,
Well,
probably.
The answer is unequivocally oatmeal. I have to ask you, have you ever used the word unequivocally?
No.
I haven't either.
Never.
I've seen it a few times. I've heard a few people say it. Usually people who are wearing a bow tie. Never me. So the answer is unequivocally oatmeal. Not only will it leave you feeling more satisfied and more full than an oat-based, ready-to-eat cereal, but it also helps you eat less at lunch. Ooh, maybe I need to eat some more of this oatmeal. During the research project, those who had consumed the oatmeal 4 hours after eating reported greater feelings of fullness as well as a decreased feeling of hunger and a decreased desire to eat. Eating less later in the day translates to fewer calories and lower numbers on the bathroom scale. Why? Oatmeal has a more soluble oat fiber than cold cereal, which is a more satisfying fiber. Plus, oatmeal is one of the top foods you can eat to naturally help your LDL bad cholesterol numbers go down.
See, the problem is I don't like oatmeal.
You know,
not
I honestly,
even a little.
I
Taylor
like
likes it.
You
Our daughter likes it.
You pour enough brown sugar
Yeah,
on there.
I don't
and it's-
think that's what they
Oh, that's
mean.
not what you... That kind of ruins it.
But we have some up in the cupboard
Do
because
we
Taylor
really?
likes it. So, yeah, maybe
I'll
we
have
should.
to grab some of that. Here's the thing I noticed a couple days ago, maybe a week ago, whenever it was. You and I went to lunch one day, and you asked if I wanted a cookie because we were at a sub place that had cookies, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll take a cookie." So I got a cookie, and then you got a cookie, and you got an oatmeal cookie with raisins.
Oatmeal raisin. I like oatmeal raisin cookies.
You like raisins?
As long as I know it's an oatmeal raisin cookie. There's nothing worse than taking a bite into an oatmeal cookie and thinking it's a chocolate chip cookie.
I've done that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh.
As long as I know what I'm getting.
Yeah. See, I'm just not so much into that. I'm an oatmeal. I like oatmeal, and I guess I don't hate the cookies. They're the last ones I'm going to eat though every time.
Oh, I like
So
them.
if I got 5 kinds of cookies, I'll even eat the like crusty old sugar cookies that have been busted into bits. I'm over there like eating up the crumbs, and I'm like, okay,
I guess I'll have an oatmeal raisin.
time to start working on that whole row of oatmeal cookies.
I like them. I do. I think they're good.
All right, coming up, we've got some good news. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
And it's time right now for some good news. We always try to wrap this program up with something positive, something happy. Now, this story, as many of these stories do, starts out really sad, and then there's a happy twist. Angel was shopping on Black Friday. Her mother passed away. She was only 57 years young. And Angel crumbled to the store floor, crying uncontrollably. And a stranger came over next to her and reached down and gave her a hug.
Aww.
Under the circumstances, she didn't even know who this woman was, didn't know her name, didn't know anything about her, had no clue who it was. Later, a couple days later, she longed to find out who was that woman that consoled me. So she turned to Facebook and she got her answer. She posted this online, and Sarah Ross answered her and told her who it was. And the two got a chance to reconnect at the funeral home where her mother was having the what do you call that? The wake? So she had a chance to come out. Visitation, there we go. Had a chance to come out. And she says, the hug meant the world to me, made me feel like people actually still care, which I think is really cool. So I've got a video that you can see all of the details on this story at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And it's just a touching story that there are some good people out there, you know. This tragedy happened, and this young lady felt awful about what happened, and a mere stranger who didn't know who this woman was at all, didn't even know for sure what she was going through, just reached down to say, it's going to be okay.
Did she find out while she was Black Friday shopping that her mom passed away? Like, she got a phone call, your mom's dead.
You can read this. You can watch a story online if you'd like to.
Otherwise, why did she go shopping if she was that distressed?
Here, let me replay the thing here.
I mean, I understand.
She got a devastating
phone call.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
She got the call.
Okay.
Her mother was only 57, so there we go. All the details there.
That makes sense then. That was very nice.
Thank you. Thank you for making me redo that. Oh, boy. The two of us work together, live together. Is it the weekend yet? If you'd like to read that story, or if you'd like to watch the video, it's on our Facebook page. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Reminder, we're only a few days away from our next Dear John letter, and we've got the one that we had yesterday at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show, and all the instructions on how you can submit your Dear John letter for next week.